Well, Jack, you know I love him. And with this worry, I've grown slim. But since I have a good figure too, I might be of some use to you. When I look back and think of the way he used to drink and how he fooled me so much, while there was never such a fine gentleman as you. When we were courting, you were always true. I was a fool to let you down. My mother said I was an awful clown. You were so steady, like and sound. I mean, you knew the value of a pound, and you always stood your round. He was mean and very small. Oh, he was a horrible thing. And the smutty songs he used to sing. And then, the way he disappeared when the thing happened that we feared. Well now, Jack, that's all I have to say, except I'll be waiting for you every day. Oh, I'm so happy now, Jack, I could sing. And Jack, don't forget an engagement ring. You can get a marriage one here for 1, 10 and 6. They're very cheap. Love, X, 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 X.
My dearest Kate, it was all hours late when I finished milking last night. Your letter gave me an awful fright until I read it, and then I knew you meant me to be a husband to you. I'll be over on the next boat. Pray to God 'twould stay afloat. Of course I'll buy the engagement ring, and on top of that I'll bring enough money for a honeymoon. I have dry cattle now in Clownsharoon, and 12 milking in the home place. What a terrible disgrace that other fellow turned out to be. I'm glad you think he's not like me. You won't have to milk or wash or scrub. We'll get a serving girl to do every job. I'm on my way to the boat, my love. I'll see you in 2 days, with God's help above.
My poor dear foolish Jack. Too late now to tell you turn back. Jack, great news I got today. I've heard from him. He's not far away. This morning I got the call. And Jack, he's not married at all. So when you get here, I won't be here. I'll be gone to him, the poor dear. Don't be too disappointed, Jack. And don't be in a hurry back. There's a good cowboy on in the palace, about a sheriff in a town, I think called Dallas. You used to love cowboys and sex. Goodbye, Jack. X, X, X.
The street. I love the flags that pave the walk. I love the mud between, the funny figures drawn in chalk. I love to hear the sound of drays upon their round, of horses and their clock-like walk. I love to watch the corner people gawk, and hear what underlies their idle talk. I love to hear the music of the rain. I love to hear the sound of yellow waters flushing in the main. I love the breaks between, when little boys begin to sail their paper galleons in the drain. Grey clouds sail west and silver tips remain. The street, thank God, is bright and clean again. Here, within a single little street, is everything that is, of pomp and blessed poverty made sweet, and all that is of love, of man and God above, of happiness and sorrow and conceit, of tragedy and death and bittersweet, of hope, despair, illusion and defeat. A golden mellow peace forever clings along this little street. There are so many lasting things beyond the wall of strife in our beleaguered life. There are so many lovely songs to sing, of God and his eternal love that rings, of simple people and of simple things. So on his gravestone we have as his epitaph, there are so many lovely songs to sing. So this weekend we'll sing them all.
I call him the keeper of the flame. He doesn't like that because he's some place called My Van. He's true to My Van. He's true to North Kerry. He could be doing all kinds of stuff and writing all kinds of poetry that nobody understands, but that's not him. He wants everybody to have a good time when they're listening to his poetry and everybody to understand it. But there's layers to his poetry. You might think you get it in the first go, But then the following day you're walking down the street, or you're driving the car, or you're doing something, and all of a sudden you think, there was more to that poem of Gabriel's than I ever thought. And that's when it hits you again. It's that second wave that all poets crave and all writers crave, when people get a deeper understanding of your work, and you've kind of got their attention at the start, and now you've got their perception. Gabriel Fitzmaurice.
What we in Ireland call a catapult, what you in America would call a slingshot. It's a thing that you go like that with. And basically the guards arrested him because they wanted to stop, breaking the windows, and they arrested him and they took him to a psychiatric hospital. But anyway, that didn't cure him. But there's a story told about Barry Bunyan. This story, by the way, is an apocryphal story. It's not a true story, the poem. It's a story that we had in my van when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s. But I was able to research it further to Australia through an Australian friend of mine, a poet called Les Murray. And he said they had it in Melbourne in the 40s. And he was able to further trace it to Budapest in Hungary in the 1920s, so it's been around for a while. But Ballybunion is the beautiful beach outside, just 7 miles from Listowel, and it's where the dance halls were, and it's where we all got our first curd and our first kiss and all the rest. So anyway, there's an apocryphal story told about. There's an apocryphal story told about a fella filling in a form in the 1950s in my van. And the first word that appears on top of the form was name. He was able for that. He wrote his name, John Michael Murphy. The second word that appeared on top of the form was born. He puzzled about that for a while and he wrote down yes. And the third word that appeared on top of the form was sex. That was easy once in Ballybunion. But anyway, here we are, obsession. He had a strange obsession. With catapult in hand, he went round breaking windows in the village by the strand, Ballybunion. The police there gave him warning they could tolerate no more, yet he went on breaking windows in the village by the shore. So they took him to Killarney from the village by the sea, where they filled him up with tablets and a course of ECT. That fixed him, or it should have, but when the doctors asked him what he'd do when he got home, he'd answer with a laugh, I get a catapult and I break every window in Ballybunion. So they keep him in Killarney, and every month or so, when they want to release him, they can't let him go, because he always answers with the same old mad refrain. Every time they let him out, his answer is the same, I get a catapult and I break every window in Ballybunion. The months go by, he's still inside. The long stays ask him then why every time he's for release he's kept inside again. So we tell him of his answer, the truth of what he'll do once he's home in Ballybunion. The long stays tell him, you. The next time you're asked that question, tell him that you'll get the paper for the horses and you'll put down the odd bet. And tell him you'll go dancing, then they'll let you out. But if they mention catapults, shut your mouth. Time goes by, he's called again, he's ready this time, and he tells him what he'll do at home in the village by the strand. I'd buy the morning paper, and I'd study the horses then, and I'd put down a bet or two. The strings cry out, good man, and I'd go to the dance, he tells him, and I'd go dancing with a girl, and I'd take her out in quarter. His head is in a whirl. Good man, the old man. I'll take her out, he says, and I'll kiss her, and then I put my hand inside her dress. Good man, the old man, and then what will you do? I'll take the knickers off her, and then what will you do? I'll take the knickers off her, he continues with a shout. I'll take the knickers off her and I'll rip the elastic out. I'll take the knickers off her and I'll do what I've always done. I'll make a catapult in the elastic and I'll break it.
Couldn't even get the people to speak up about the murder that was committed over land. It was written in this very pub late at night when Joanna and myself were fast asleep upstairs. Up there at the counter, my dad was after 14 or 15 hours working, and he stayed up all night to write this play called The Field. Many people feel it was his greatest play, one of the greatest plays ever written. Modesty forbids me from saying any more, but to say we're proud of this play is beyond belief. And we have a section from the play tonight. It's the bishop has been brought into this rural parish to persuade the people to confess or to tell who the murderer was or to come forward. I need absolute hush for this. This needs massive concentration. We have an actor here, Kevin Barry. I'm not going to stop. I won't start until people stop talking. I'm going to call it off if people don't stop talking. Okay, absolute hush for this. Put yourselves in the church. You're scared of your lives of the bishop. This is the most powerful man in the country at the time. He can do whatever he likes to you. It's the bishop seen from the field.
Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of him who is able to kill both body and soul together in hell. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Dearly beloved brethren, these were the words of Christ himself. He was speaking about truth. How many of you would deny Christ? How many of you, like Peter, would stand up and say, I know not the man? But you can lie without saying a word. You can lie without opening your lips. You can lie by silence. 5 weeks ago, in this parish, a man was murdered. For 5 weeks, the police have investigated. In that time, not one single person has come forward to assist them. Everywhere they turned, they have been met by silence. A silence of the most frightful and diabolical kind. The silence of the lie. I beg of you, I implore you, if anybody knows anything, come forward and speak without fear. This is a parish in which you understand hunger. But there are many hungers. There is the hunger for good, a natural hunger. There is the hunger of the flesh, a natural and understandable hunger. There is the hunger for home, for love, for children. These things are all good. They are good because they are necessary. But there is also the hunger for land. And you and your fathers before you in this parish know what it is like to starve because you did not own your own land. And it increases this unappeasable hunger for land. But how far are you prepared to go to satisfy this hunger? Are you prepared to go to the point of robbery? Are you prepared to go to the point of murder? Are you prepared to kill for land? Was this man killed for land? Did he give his life's blood for a field? If so, then this field will be a field of blood, and it shall be paid for in 30 pieces of silver, the price of Christ's betrayal. And you, by your silence, will share in that betrayal. Among you, there is a murderer. There is a murderer. You may even know his name. You may even have seen him commit this terrible crime. By your silence, you share in his guilt. your innocent children will grow up under the shadow of this terrible crime. And you will carry this guilt with you until you face your Maker at the moment of judgment. If you're afraid to go to the police, then come to your priests, or come to me. If there is one man among you, one man, fashioned after Christ's likeness, then he will stand up and say, there he is, there is the murderer. And he will have borne witness to Christ before men, and Christ will bear witness to him before his Father in heaven. But if, by your silence, you deny Christ before men, then he will disown you in heaven. And I, as his representative, will have a solemn duty to perform. I will place this parish under interdict, and then there will be a silence more terrible than the first. The church bell will be silent. The mass bell will not be heard. The voice of the confessional will be still. And then, in your final moment, will be the most dreadful silence of all. For you shall go to face your Maker without the last sacrament on your lips. I beg of you, come forward before it is too late. I am the way, said Christ, and the truth. Do not be afraid of those who can kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of him who is able to destroy body and soul together in hell. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
That was Kevin Barry, especially for tonight. Thank you so much, Kevin. Going all around them, but the dogs didn't get on with my dad. So Dad would be here writing masterpieces like The Field until 3 or 4 in the morning when the pub was quiet and it was like a silent, darkened stage and we were all upstairs in bed. But one night Dad decided to strike back. So he got us all out of bed. Joanna was there. She was in my mother's tummy at the time. My mother was always either pregnant or slightly pregnant or a little bit pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, and she was, the buttons were popping. I remember, the buttons popped in her dress, so she must have been gone at least 15, 16 months at that stage. So Dad opens up the bedroom window, right upstairs there, and he opens up the bedroom window, and on the count of 1, 2, 3, we all shout out the window, and it wakes every greyhound and every mongrel in a chain reaction from here to Pittsburgh. My dad was a star man, and on certain nights when the heavens were in alignment and the constellations were behaving themselves, Dad would take us out the back door, and there, perfectly framed in the gap between the flat roof and the kitchen, was the plough. And he knew the name of every single star. The poem is called The Starman. It was the kind of a night when every small star was let out. The crescent moon was reading his book in the yolk-yellow watts of a frosty spot. From the town-top forest of salt and pepper pots, turf smoke bob cottoned to the roof of the world. Our backyard was as quiet as a Christmas night, and the wind was a whisper from far away. The mad mist stacks, vampire cats, jumped from the red sheds to the crates of brown bottles glistening in their coffins. Lift me up quick, Dad, I begged, and he did. My father, a starman, pointed to the plough and the tracks of a furrow to the east of our chimney near the start of tomorrow. And if the weather was right, there might well come a night when me and him and young Jim might join up the dots and hop from one star to the other in search of lost treasure. As I was up in his arms and never nearer to heaven, I asked him about dying. He said, Bill boy, don't be worrying, we'll be near stars winking. And we sang Twinkle Twinkle with lilting abandon, a plan to get shock skinny Brindle howling and yodeling like his cousins the wolves beyond in the tundra, who sent cards every Christmas to the hounds of the old quarter. To a chorus of mongrels at the backs of the houses, holding the high note in eclectic confusion, and a gasp fit of laughter by me and my father. Thank you, folks.
Go again, for God's sake. Go again. That's it. We're getting there anyway. You're getting there. You'll be a fully fledged referee before we're finished. But anyway, now this story to set to the 15th of August, and for I suppose some of our American visitors. God, you know what? Your 4th of July, I suppose, was damn near like our 15th of August. In fact, you probably borrowed it to know. The 15th of August around here, all farmers down tools. Now, they might be working every other day of the year, but on the 15th of August, once their job's done, down the tools and back to Ballybunyan for what was known as Pattern Day. But anyway, in the year of our Lord 1934, no, it was a queer year for primroses. It was a better year for hay, but it was a woeful year for funerals. My grandfather, Mirashin Connor, that morning he got up, milked his few cows, went to the creamery, came home, washed the tanks. We did ate his second breakfast. After that then, he tackled up the pony to the trap, put on the good clothes, and headed back to Lacca, where he picked up his old friend Teddy Dowd, and my two boys headed back to Ballybunyan for the 15th of August, so that was their lifelong pattern on Pattern Day. No, that was fine. Their first stop in Ballybunyan was Mikey Joe's, the Americano. They went in there. They had a pint apiece with a small one inside in it to keep it company, you know. That was fine. Well, they went from one public house to another for the whole day until they were finally ousted by the civic guard. But my cute boys now, in fairness to them, not before they invested in a noggin of whiskey apiece to shorten the road home. No, that was fine anyway. They got back into the pony and trap, and they were coming down out of Ballybunyan. No, it was a beautiful moonlit night. There was the odd dog howling in the distance. I only got bit by the pup there, but anyway. There was an odd tomcat on his prowl. I see Matt Mooney below there, the nearest thing I ever see to a tomcat in Listowel. Anyway, that was fine. No, my two boys were getting on fine. The pony was going at a nice jig trot, but next thing, just outside Gale Graveyard, the pony, after he had done a little bit of Irish dancing, he stopped dead in his tracks. No, he didn't die, he just stopped dead in his tracks. And no amount of coaxing was going to make him go another single solitary inch. My grandfather, no, he was worried. Straight away, he went for the rosary beads, and he got him out, and he started going through the Hail Marys. Dowd, of course, small man, with the power of drink inside him. I couldn't give a rattling damn, says Dowd. He hops out of the trap, and he goes to the front of the pony with the pony. There was a look of abject terror in his bloodshot eyes at the mouth. Dowd, of course, had to obey that ancient law, liquid in,
Liquid out.
liquid out. Over he went to the graveyard gate. You'll have to excuse me now, boys. Well, anyway, there he was. Billy has had so much trouble with his water in recent years that he's taken to doing this. And it still doesn't help him. But anyway, Dowd anyway at the graveyard gate after about 5 minutes when the steam began to clear. What did he see in front of his eyes and nose? Only 2 hurling teams. Every one of them tugged out with a jersey and a shorts and a shoes on them and a hurley in every hand. What's wrong with he, says Dowd. Over comes this tall man with a face the colour of limestone. I'm the captain, says he, and we're short the man. Who're the team, says Dowd, the old parish ruler. We're Ballyduff and the other crowd are Ballybawn. Oh, says Dowd, sure I'm more man. My mother, God be good to her, wasn't she a Ballyduff woman? At that anyway, the captain agreed, and Dowd took off his coat and he climbed in over the gate. After he put his coat up on the range. Now, that was fine. The whole graveyard lit up the pitch to the length and breadth of the graveyard. And all these forms started coming up out of the ground and they took their place on the graveyard wall. That was fine. There was this small, baldy-headed fella with a burnished hunting horn in his hand. He blew it. He threw in the ball, believe it or not. Hadn't long pigtails now, but he was the referee. That was fine. Threw in the ball and the game was on. Well, now for the first 10 minutes, 'twas like snowballs coming into the Ballyduff square. And if it was, there was Dowd inside the middle of the square, and he lasted the ball back out faster than it ever came in. That was fine anyway. The Ballybrack boys, by far the faster outfit was here, that wasn't trouble, but half-time came and went anyway. The 2 teams, they were giving it everything. The crowd were jumping up and down on top of the wall, and the rosary beers were falling out of their pockets. And my grandfather, he said to some of the finest hurling he saw in his entire life. Oh, with the long-range points and the fancy wristwork and the hooking. This is a different kind of hooking now. Different entirely now, unrelated. Now, that was fine anyway. 10 minutes to go and this melee broke out in the middle of the field. Oh, the sound of the clash of the ash on old dirty skulls. Even softer than Billy's. That was fine anyway. Next thing, 1 minute to go, and Dowd, he won the ball. He had the ball poised on the base of his hurley, and he started cutting through the Ballyboard players like a side through switchgrass. Honest to God, he was darting like a trout. He was bounding like a snake. He had the entire Ballyboard team at his heels like a pack of hungry hounds. He was skipping crosses at breakneck speed, and finally he was up into the top of the tombstone. The ref blew the horn. That was a good blow now. That wasn't free now, you see. Play stopped. Dowd straightened himself up. There was only the 2 points in it. Oh, he felt the liquid flowing down on his leg. Oh, his first thought was for the noggin of whiskey. He puts down his hand. "'Tis all right, lads," says he. "'Tis only blood." At that, he takes out the noggin of whiskey, he polishes it off, and like any true Ballyduff player, he fires the empty bottle at the Ballybourne goalie. He missed, and like any true referee, saw nothing. Dowd squared up for the free. He lifted the sliotar with his command, and he lashed at it. The ball went away off to the right. It flew through the eye of a Celtic cross. From there it struck the pole of Pastor Angel, which fell. From there, 'twas redirected onto the outstretched arm of Michael, the Archangel. And from there, it skeeved its way inside the left upright into the back of the left. Dowd was out. The ref blew his horn. And a great blow it was. Dowd was after putting Ballyduff into the next round of the West Munster Graveyard Cup. Yeah, hoisted down onto their shoulders, and they trotted him around the four corners of the graveyard. 3 cheers for Dowd! Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Oh, there were the 3 lords of Mulligones that reached heavenwards and died slowly. The whole lot vanished, except for Dowd and the belly duff captain. Hurry on quick, said my grandfather to Dowd. Dowd, just about to throw the leg out over the gate. I fell off this. The belly duff captain came and put his hand on his shoulder. You play the stars, says he. You're the pride of our mother's people. Go home and get your affairs in order. You're on for good next Sunday. I tell you, it was a awful year for fueling.
Brothers and 1 sister, and grew up right on the banks of the River Erne, and was, as I say, idyllic. So this is a song for people who had brothers and sisters and maybe lost 1 or 2 of them along the way. Because another birthday's come and gone, and there won't be many more. Me mind's gone wandering back the years that paved my lifetime's road, to those endless sun-drenched boyhood days in the place it all began, with my gypsy band of brothers by the lovely River Erne. Now I don't wear rose-tinted glasses, so I swear that this is true. The sun, it always seemed to shine, the skies were always blue, for the Dolans and the Dorseys, the Maguires and the Burns, and my gypsy band of brothers by the lovely River Erne. Now a lifetime lies between us since the day I went away, and while the salmon keeps returning, a part of me lost in endless sun-drenched boyhood days in the place it all began, with my gypsy band of brothers by the lovely River Erne. Now my mother taught the primary school, my father on the shop. It was a home of love and laughter, where the music never stopped. And when evening stars came twinkling out, all the neighbors would arrive, and their music and their folklore kept our heritage alive. And we snared our rabbits in the cropping, captured tadpoles in the bog, and went roaming round the foreshore with fishing lines and dogs. And the dark and dangerous days to come were but lessons yet to learn by my gypsy band of brothers by the lovely River Erne. Now our one and only sister was the first of us to go from a cruel and evil sickness that And it was standing by her deathbed that I first learned how to pray, when I begged the God of mercy to allow her to slip away. My brother Sean too soon then followed, long, long before his time. We thought he'd be the last man standing, be the very last in line. He left without one word of warning as the leaves began to fall. The kindest and the bravest and the best one of us all. Though a lifetime lies between us since the day I went away, while the salmon keeps returning, a part of me remained, lost in endless unquenched boyhood days, in the place I grew a man, with my gypsy band of brothers by the lovely river. Now there are 3 surviving brothers now who are left to carry on my mother's treasury of poetry, my father's legacy of song. And though our lives have led us separate ways, and we've travelled near and far, that shared patchwork of our boyhood is what made us who we are. And I don't want to go to heaven, for I've been already there, and an eternity of piety is more than I could bear. But if God might show me mercy, He'll allow me to return to join my gypsy band of brothers by the lovely river. Yes, if God might grant me mercy, He'll allow me to return, rejoin my gypsy band of brothers and my beloved river.
That was the incredible Mickey McConnell. Well, it's my dad's birthday party, and I baked the cake myself today. But also, before you say Mickey, also we have a very good friend who gives a great feed when you call to see her, and she lives in my dad's favourite place in the world. It's called Lara Compon, and Joan, happy birthday. And I'm told it's a significant birthday, so I'd say it's around the 40 mark, Joan. So folks, we're going to sing happy birthday for, do you mind sharing it with my dad? Birthday to you, Joan. Happy birthday.